Never left.
Yep.
You know, him.
Tonight, on The Vantage Point, we spotlight Reverend Dr. A.J. Varmah, leader, scholar, spiritual guide, author of over 70 plus books. He's the Coptic Pope of today, with over thousands of sermons, leading ceremonies, conferences, and so much more. He has been leading the way for brothers and sisters all across the globe for over 20 years. He is known to be a blessing for melanated people, proven by his ability to answer all questions. This is no doubt, as it's been seen and proved time and time again, especially here on The Vantage Point. We are blessed to have, grateful to have, thankful to have, and welcome Reverend Dr. A.J. Varmah, also known as Basesh Haruhotep Tar. Peace and blessings. Welcome back to another week of The Vantage Point. If you're new here, welcome for your first time. And we are grateful just to be back here again. Today is a conversation that we need to have. But before we get started, I want to thank you for being here and ask for your help today. If you're watching this live, if you're watching this on replay, please participate in helping The Vantage Point in viewing us on Spotify. Even if you watch the episode today, tomorrow, go to Spotify, go type in The Vantage Point, look for this episode, listen to this episode, listen to another episode, just so that we can boost our views and begin to monetize so we can produce better quality products for you, better quality visuals for you. We can change the scenery. There's some really, really, really nice things that we want to do. And we're asking for your help. This is something you can do for free. And we thank you. We thank you for your support. And we look forward to growing and really, really getting to heights where now a conscious message can be produced and, really, really marketed to the world where everybody can hear it. Because sometimes, the real information, the truthful information gets muffled. So we need your help in making it loud and doing it with pride and really, really, really expanding. So again, thank you for being here with us. Today, Black people, what is going on? There's a lot going on in the world around us. And there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of videos going out. There's a lot of P. Diddy in the chatter. And we want to address a few things because things that affect the global ears and eyes and attention of melanated people, there's deeper meanings to it. There's things that we really need to understand, and not just on the surface level. And that's what the Vantage Point is here for, to give you a different perspective. Here we bring on scholars and philosophers all around the world to help to change our vantage point and give us tools to use in this everyday fight against racism, white supremacy. So you know who our guest is today. We have with us Reverend Dr. A.J. Varmah, and we want to thank you for joining us again today, being back here with us, and just taking the time to support the Vantage Point and just giving us your wisdom and knowledge and massive amount of information. So thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me on the Vantage Point. In fact, thank you for making the space for this conversation. You and I were talking on some other things, and I said, I think we need to perhaps address the whole situation with Puff Daddy and what we see as far as in the media, not just him, but the industry, the actors, the famous Black people.
Yes.
And you were gracious enough to say, okay, well, whatever you had already programmed, you would push it forward and give a space for me. So I'm grateful for that.
No, because we need to have this conversation, and anytime we have the opportunity to have you here, we definitely take advantage of it. So thank you again. So this is gonna be we're gonna go over an hour today, just to kind of get to the juice of the conversation. First, I would like to kind of address what we see in the media with Diddy, P. Diddy, and not in a sense of, what happened to him, but what is it that we're truly looking at, in the sense of how does it affect us, and where can we find ourselves in what is happening? How can we look at what's happening and see how we may reflect or may not reflect, or how we can help to change the situation amongst us? I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes 100%. It's an excellent question, but I would like to answer it by making sure that everyone listening in, first and foremost, I'm going to say some language, right, that I don't find offensive, but could be deemed offensive. We might say some terms, or in order to stress the reality of the situation. So I want to make sure that any parents that are listening in, or who might have people that are underage, listen with them so you can explain what we mean. That way, no one is going to say later on that we were teaching minors to be disrespectful, anything of that nature.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not saying anything crazy, but sometimes in discussing a crazy world, crazy situations, you might say something crazy. So let me start off by that, saying that. A few things is going on with this situation with Puff Daddy, which has been ongoing now for months and months and months. Number one, in no way, form, or fashion am I here to talk about his innocence, because whatever video we saw, you saw the video, Cassie, this, that, whoever, they got evidence. Awesome, right? And that will run its natural course. We saw similar with the R. Kelly situation, and it ran a natural course. We saw similar with Bill Cosby, and it ran a course, right? The legality of it. In fact, today I saw in the United Kingdom, a gentleman named Farad. He was a owner of Harrods, which is like a big shopping company in the UK, clothing and things of that nature, and upscale. And he died last year. And now all these women are coming forth. 35 women. Gloria Aldridge from the United States is in the United Kingdom, and she's representing these women, and they're going after his money, and they're pulling that up. And so we see this, and then we know the Me Too movement that started a few years back, and it's just been it's been this ping, 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 right? It's like going to the circus or fair, and you get those little water guns, and they're shooting at the balloons, and one by one people are falling. People who have done things that, for all intents and purposes, they would deserve to fall. But tonight, I would like to, with your help, Sister Azandi, to address the other side of the equation. Back in the early 1900s, when Black people had come out of slavery, had come from World War I, took what monies they had made from fighting in the war as soldiers or sailors or Marines or Air Force, whatever, in the United States and in the United Kingdom and other places in Europe, began to invest their finances in such a way as to store up wealth and invest it and set up, this is where your Black Wall Street and Black Harlem, the Harlem Renaissance, and all of these different Black cities throughout the United States. And England had cities that were Black at the time. All of this type of stuff started happening. And racism, white supremacy, and its purveyors and its children um, got scared, right? They say, or realistically, got angry, got jealous, got fueled with rage that how could these uppity Negroes or niggers now be standing and showing the world that you can actually get stuff done. This was after the Great Depression, Great Depression hit the world, and the economics or the economies of so many countries collapsed, and white men were leaving their families to such an extent that in the United States they had to create the food stamps program. It was created to supplement white women whose uh, husbands had left them. In fact, former First Lady Hillary Clinton, if you read the story about her mother, how her mother's parents just literally walked out and left the little girl at home. And it's a real interesting read if you ever get a chance to read on it. But as a result of all of these things, it put angry Caucasian or European people in a position where they had what was called the Red Summer. And there was destruction of black cities. They started lynching people, right? And the lynchings were never the poor black person. It was about lynching the black man or woman who was now amassing wealth, an uppity Negro or nigger, as they would say. They were attacking that to undermine the wealth or the ability to work for self, hire others, and improve the conditions of melanated people. I'm getting somewhere. As this is happening, this red summer, this burning of black cities and lynching of black people, the lynching or the linchpin had been pulled, and hundreds of cities throughout the United States was now on fire. They were on fire, and this was happening in Europe at the same time. I'm giving us a history lesson. I pray people can kind of grasp the lesson so far. As a result of all these things, now you had a situation where black people were being put in their place and were now pushing back because you had a lot of war veterans coming back from the war and they knew how to fight. So they were like, well, bring it. Whatever you dishing up, we serve it back to you. And it became a problem. So what they decided to do, and I'm talking about the powers that be, specifically under a man named J. Edgar Hoover and Hoover's FBI at the time, was they were going to target black wealth. So they began investigating, and this is from the 1913 to 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, 2000s, 2010s, and now in the 2020s, to look at those melanated people who could pose a threat to the establishment as far as the ability to finance a resistance against racism, white supremacy. Targeting people. Again, this goes back to the early 1900s, 1920, 1913, 1930. And they were looking at, again, these black people, black cities, attacking their wealth, attacking their intelligence. And they created a movie called The Birth of a Nation, Yani. And this movie, this film called The Birth of a Nation, was showing black people. I'm not sure if we can bring it up, The Birth of a Nation, but it was showing black people, black men specifically, as being sex crazed, King Kong like animals. And they did it in blackface. White people wearing black makeup or black paint on their face. And they were running around and threatening white women and raping. And this was what the movie, and it put such a vitriol hatred towards the black man that now white men went out and they began lynching. Now, recently in the United Kingdom, in England, about maybe 2-3 weeks ago, 4 weeks, it hasn't been that long. There's some little girls at a ballet kind of class. Some guy walks in, white guy, stabs up these girls. And another incident happened a few weeks after, another stabbing, stabbed up, killed some of these baby girls. And some people went online and said it was a melanated or black or ethnic person who was an illegal, who was a migrant. So now white people went berserk. Anybody can go online and pull up what took place in the United Kingdom. Let's see if I can bring it up. The woman who said that the stabbing was a migrant, please. Right? This lady here, bringing it up now. Right? She was the first to share what they called false information. Right? She was the first to share what they called false information in this case. And I want people to really kind of pay attention. And please, Sister Zandi, let me know if you can see
Yes,
my page.
I can
Right?
see it.
Woman named as first to share false Southport suspect rumor before riot says mistake destroyed her. It was a spur of the moment, ridiculous thing to do, which has literally destroyed me, Bernadette Spofford says. So this white lady went up and started sharing that it was a migrant, a black migrant, and these white folks in the United Kingdom in city after city started burning, going to police precincts. They are looking for this suspect. They're gonna beat him. They had a picture of a black man, right? And it went out. They had a picture of the black man who allegedly was the one to do so. And for about 2, 3 weeks, it was hot. They kind of pushed it back underground, but this anti-migrant, anti-melanated, anti-indigenous, anti-black, anti-brown, that is what they call American exceptionalism, what they call European alt-right or white nationalists or Indian nationalism or Brazil's nationalism or Colombia's nationalism or Dominican Republics. This is planetary right now. And so, again, playing on that birth of a nation theme of scaring people, that black people, the boogeyman. So now they've succeeded. And of course, because some of us were stupid enough to play into it, right? To fall stupidity and do stupid things, but they've succeeded in saying that black men have this weird sexual behavior. They're predators of black girls. They're rapists. They like to drug your drinks. This is the narrative they painted with the Cosby trial, right? They're going to drug your drinks. The OJ is going to kill the wife with a sword, and then he's going to drive a Bronco. Then he's going to try to steal his artifacts. And now that he's dead, they're going after whatever he left with his children. This is the narrative, right? They're going to show the football player, and he slaps the girl in the elevator and they fight. They're going to play this narrative over and over. They're going to show Jay-Z and Solange attacking Jay-Z. They're going to show Sexy Red and Lotta and Glorilla and Cardi B and showing that melanated black and brown skins and black and brown butts, face down, butt up. Not this is the remix, right? It's the clean version, right? And that is the notion that they're going, and there are painting of black women, that black women like to be face down, ass up, that black women like to wear no clothes, that every rap video you and I have seen in the last 20 years has a black woman, a brown woman, a melanated woman shaking her stuff with a Negro holding some alcohol, pouring this is not alcohol, by the way, this is an apple cider, right? Pouring some alcohol on somebody's buttocks. And this idea of hypersexuality of black women and hypersexuality slash twisted sexuality. No
Yes.
matter how much money you give them, look at these animals.
Yes.
This is what, and Donald Sterling, right, the former owner of the LA Clippers, when his side piece, other woman, mistress, whatever they call him, when she was recording him, he said that. He said, you can't be around them. They're animals. Look at how they treat each other.
Yeah.
Look at the stuff that they do. These are the things. So they put this in motion. So now every black man, whether you have money or not, you're now, if the young man that he played in Creed, he's
Mm-hmm.
what is his name? Uh, he played in Creed recently, and he played in Disney's Ant-Man. From Ant-Man, and he oh man, what is his name? He just had the big trial where he had the white woman chasing him down the street and he was running from her. He played Kang the Conqueror. Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors. Right? Jonathan Majors.
Yes.
And
I'm
so this
sorry. I'm trying to
Jonathan,
help you
it
out here.
showed, no, it's okay. And so Jonathan Majors, he's a black man, big, buff black guy, and he's running down the street from a white lady. And literally, I mean, I ain't seen a brother run this fast in a long time. This brother is running for his life. But how does it play
Yes.
out? He's now with a sister, Megan,
Mhm.
right? And but how does it play out? He's an animal.
Yep.
He's a big
Yep. That's
monster.
him.
And the
Yep.
little white girl was so afraid for her life. And they dropped him from everything. Again, Birth of a Nation, but it's being replayed through the media and the
Yes.
court of public opinion. So
Yes.
now we got Jonathan Majors, he's a monster. We got the
Mm-hmm.
football players, they're monsters. We
Mm-hmm.
got the rappers, they're monsters. We got Cosby, he's a monster. We got R. Kelly, he's a monster. We got P. Diddy, he's a monster. And everybody who went to the white party, the P. Diddy parties, and Jamie Foxx's parties, and because
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Foxx, he had OD'd. We don't know what he did, what was going on. Was he alive? Was he dead? That whole thing was kind of a threat, telling him, stay your place. All of this happened, and now anyone can say anything about a black man. And I'm talking about those mothers listening in that got a black son.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a teenage son, if you got a 10-year-old, you got a 15-year-old, a 19-year-old, 29-year-old, 35-year-old, a husband that you love, a brother that you love, these people are now, because of the narrative that we've
Yes.
been supporting, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
black people, we like to hear some bad news about people. What he
Yes.
do?
Yes.
If you say somebody just did something great, they just graduated school, and they were MD. Oh, okay, that's nice. He
Mm-hmm.
said that man, he just slept with 4 frogs. What? They got it on video. You want to see the frogs do?
Yep. I
It's
love
a
it.
twisted, it's
Yeah.
a twisted type of destructive mind, not realizing that we are part and parcel involved in creating our own birth of a nation. Because again, right now, any black man who gets accused of anything, it's plausible.
Right.
It could have happened,
It could have happened.
right?
Right.
It could.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Songz writes a song about how many have to die, how many have to this. Immediately, oh, somebody accuses him of rape. It doesn't go to trial, but the accusation is there. The accusation is there. So, like the birth of a nation, the black man is now dangerous. And as because he's dangerous, now the police are going to be given in this next administration full carte blanche, because one of the Project 2025 things is police officers will be exempt from prosecution to hunt down this rabid animal.
Okay. Okay. Let's wait a second. So, and I know I started a little abruptly, right? It was a little noise. I apologize. Um, and also, if you want to bring up a birth of a nation, we can. I'm just having some trouble on my screen sharing it. So if
Okay.
you all want to look later, if you look at this page or the Cryptic TV page, if you look, there's also a video on there that has the birth of a nation, and it showed exactly what was taking place. And so what I want to be clear to the audience is, especially because I know you're like, well, what does that have to do with Diddy? Because Diddy is guilty. Again, he's not saying that Diddy did not do what he did and that he's not guilty. What Basesh is doing, Reverend Dr. AJ Varmah, is painting a picture and trying to show us the things that we don't see. It's always layers to what they show you on television. There's always layers to the news that they broadcast. So the news that we broadcast, what we're showing you here on the Vantage Point, is to give you a different perspective of the things that we do not see, because again, it is layered. So with Pete Diddy, and I just want to be clear, Dr. Varma, if you may, are we saying that one, yes, he did it, but was he purposely put in a position to have certain things take place, to be a part of this career, to pursue his career, knowing that these things will come back later to bite him? You know, not just him, but anybody. Is that a
the
part
way
of
the
being
way
a
the way the
celebrity?
way the music industry, the way the entertainment industry is designed, the Hollywood, which is Merlin the Magician's staff, by the way, it's designed to always have something over the artist, for them to find your vice, for them to find that thing that you're weak towards, whether it's alcohol, drugs, women, men, dogs, cats, bats, whatever it is. And I'm not saying it in a facetious way. I'm literally talking about them finding the thing, and they do it in athletics. They place certain women in your prayer view, in your environment. And this is, and I talked about in the book years ago called Is the Nubian Male an Endangered Species? And we said, watch what's going to happen to the artist. Watch what's going to happen to the athletes. Watch what's going to happen to the moguls. How many black people die with their wealth? Name them. Sammy Davis Jr.? No. Whitney? No. Sam Cooke, Otis Redding, James Brown? No. All the rappers that's come and gone? No. Which black person has died and after their Michael Jackson? No. Which black person has died and been left in their glory? Who've been left with their finances able to be passed to a next generation? These men and women are working from zero, from nothingness to somethingness, and when they're gone, everything is either going back, if it's a criminal, back to the coffers of the county, state, or federal, or back to some agency that's supposed to be. Look at Michael Jackson. Look at the mess. He left these guys to be executors of his will. They taken his mother to court, sued her. Prince said don't, and they took Michael Jackson's catalog and sold it back to the very Sony records that he
got it from.
Prince fought to get his masters. They just sold his masters to the very company that he. So this is the status quo because they understand what precedence looks like. So I don't know if P. Diddy did it or didn't do it, because there's a whole lot of people that was at these parties. But what it is saying is this can be a method by which they can eliminate all those people who were in attendance or bring criminal charges, and that begins to decimate the financial strength within the black community of the so-called wealthy black entertainers, athletes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They went after Neil Tyson DeGrasse. They tried to say 3 women were saying that he tried to assault them, 3 white women. This, and he beat it. But again, the thought has been put. This is the man telling you about the universe, right? But the thought has been put. He had a case that was pending, and don't think it's gone. They go after everyone. You're looking at Kevin Hart, you're looking at Usher, you're looking at wickedness, Oprah Winfrey. These people fear racism, white supremacy. It's fear. Is anyone and the Nazis did this to the Jewish people. Then when they went, before they started the Holocaust or implemented it, they took all the wealth of the Jewish people first. They will remove your wealth, and they did the same thing. They were putting up signs: Jews are this and Jews are that, and Jews are animals and Jews are monsters. Jews will rape your women. Don't believe me. They put these signs everywhere. And as a result of putting it up, they villainized the Jewish people first through propaganda, like today, like television and media and print news. Back at that time. And then once they had succeeded in the villainization of the Jewish people, then people became accepting of what they saw happening to the Jewish people. Do y'all understand? So this is the same thing. I'm bringing up on the screen. Am I still here?
Yes, you are.
Right. Bring it up on the screen, The Birth of a Nation. This was The Birth of a Film. And it was a 3-hour film that villainized black people, glorified the Klan, said that white women needed to be protected from black men, showed the Civil War and how they lost, and that ravening black animal was now, you see, blackface. And they were dangerous. They were coming back. And this is the one where he's going to come through the bushes and see the white lady. And he's going to threaten her life. And her white lover, her husband, is watching. And this was, he goes away and he comes and finds out that the black people, this, please, I'm telling people, if you watch it, if you understand what you're looking at, it is the propaganda. And from this began the Red Summer. And this is what we're seeing happening again. We're watching it happen and we're participating in it. Puffy is one individual, but they went after Kanye, not the same way, but they took him from 1 point something billion down to 400 million. Now he's going to be okay, but you're eliminating black wealth, putting black people in the position that in an emergency, there's no one to fund any type of resistance. During the 1960s, when we were looking at the civil rights era of the 50s and 60s, who was funding the civil rights? Aretha Franklin was funding the civil rights. FBI had a file and case on her, watching her. This is fact. Harry Belafonte was funding the civil rights movement. James Brown was funding the civil rights movement. Back in the early 1900s, Nat King Cole was involved in helping the NAACP. Otis Redding, Sam Cooke, and I can keep naming people. These men and women were directly involved by taking their money and putting it to the use of helping to liberate or change the conditions for their people. And for it, the FBI put files on them. Unfortunately, a lot of the young entertainers and athletes of today don't have that understanding, but the powers that be know that at any moment they can get a moment of consciousness.
Right.
See, they saw that happen with Kyrie. They saw that happen with Amari Stoudemire. You see, when Kyrie he just put something on, he just shared something from Amazon. They didn't go after Amazon, Jeff Bezos.
Nope.
Something he shared from Amazon site,
and it's still there
on his page, and it's still there. But he posed a threat because of his platform. The European, the Canaanites, their idea is what? They fear what they call mass control. They don't care about your dogma. They don't care about your teaching. They don't care if it's the teaching of the Nation of Islam under Baba, the Most Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. They don't care if it's the teaching of the Ansarullah under Sheikh Isa al-Hadi al-Mahdi. They don't care if it's the teachings of Yahweh ben Yahweh, or the teachings of Ben Ami Israel, or the teachings of Dr. Clark, or the teachings of Ashwa Kwesi, or the teachings of Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. They don't care what the teaching specifics are. They care about its ability to move people and mobilize people. They call it mass control. If you, Dr. King, have the ability to say we're going to march on Washington and 1 million people show up, that's the threat. If you, Dr. Whomever, say we're going to do this and people show up. If you say we're going to dress like this and people do it. If you say we're going to walk like this and people do it. If you say we're going to talk like this and people do it, that is the threat.
Yes.
And so we got to now look and say, this is what we see happening. So before we cheer it on like Puffy, yeah, he deserved it. Again, I'm not arguing in defense. I'm saying while we are promoting that, because they could handle this case without it being in the media.
They got a different agenda.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of other stuff they could be reported about the black men who keep getting found hung in Walmart parking lots.
Yeah.
One. There was about 5 more before him, and we pull up the articles and show you, and nobody. Why they not talk? I want to know about that. Oh, Puffy, y'all got him. I want to know, is there a serial killer going around hanging black men, or serial killers, or lynchmen, or black or white people with their white supremacy? Are they back? Because their iniquity is not yet full. But we're not talking about that. Everything's puffy, puffy, puffy. They got that off the air. They got the lynching off the air because they can't have that, because that's not good in an election year. They needed another story. So why did they wait this long to arrest?
Because they already knew what he was doing.
They knew.
They had surveillance.
They needed to get that other story of that young man being lynched. A group of young men and women who are being lynched. The black man who was handcuffed in the back of the cop's car and they somehow had a magic shotgun as a right-handed person and was able to take the shotgun and shoot himself in the side of the head. These are the things, they don't want that out. They don't want you to know about what's going on with Niger and Burkina Faso and Senegal, how they pushing France out. They got to get that off the air so they can do a coup and you won't be paying attention. They don't want you to know what's going on with our brothers and sisters down in Haiti and how certain departments and the powers that be are going in there trying to eliminate people. They're not telling you the real. They don't want you to know what's going on in Bolivia and Ecuador and San Salvador and El Salvador. They don't want that story. They don't want you to even pay attention that the Israelis just blew up people's cell phones and radio communication. And we walking around here with cell phones. That this game has changed. They're not talk. They don't want you to see that. They want to keep black people focused on Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Puff Daddy, Jay-Z, 50, and what all the other people. And in that, it's a kill two birds with one stone, because while we're watching what they want us to watch, we're not looking in the direction that we should.
Absolutely.
We're watching the birth of a nation. Again, as a father, a black husband, a black son. You understand?
Yeah.
As a grandfather, I am afraid for my offspring. Not afraid like bite my nails, afraid like concerned, because I understand what I'm looking at. We're watching the birth of a nation again, except it's being played out by manipulating the narrative, taking people who do stupid stuff, granted, but replaying it over and over and over and over. And then the subconscious mind says, black man can't be trusted. He gonna spike your drink. Black man can't be trusted. He gonna want your daughter. Black man can't. That's Kelly. Black man is gonna be Vaseline.
And that's not the majority of black men.
The majority of black men. Black women are Megan Thee Stallion. But everybody take a picture right now. When's the last time a black woman took a picture looking straight on into the camera? I'm talking about. I ain't talking about a black woman in kufas and hijabs. I'm talking about a black woman in regular shirt and some pants or jeans. And you say, take a picture, everybody sideways, got the butt sticking out. Why? Why is the butt to the side the preferred pose for black women? Who's promoting the narrative? Well, because most of us grew up watching the hip hop videos or watching television and took the art. Life is now imitating the art. And so we're all walking around, and this is what you see happening. We've got to be able to have a real conversation, right? Bill Cosby, why'd they go after him? Because he was buying a station. He was buying a station. He wanted to buy the station, which means a black man was going to own a major network. The same thing, what's the gentleman's name that owns the Huffington Post, right? And he owns the Weather Channel, right? And they keep trying to stop him. Make sure we get his name, please, because
yes,
names, right?
I know. Yes.
Right. This is the game that they're playing. Right? The game that they're playing. And why? Because they understand precedence.
Yes.
Byron Allen is his name. Byron Allen. He owns the Weather Channel, the only black-owned station today on the planet. He owns the Weather Channel. He owns the Huffington Post. Byron Allen. He's a comedian, but he's a brilliant man, not just a comedian. And they want to make sure, again, a black person, they don't mind Medea. They don't mind if you're going to dress up as a woman. And I'm not knocking Brother Tyler Perry, because they're going to go after him too. I'm not knocking any black person who's doing anything, but they're going to come for them, because this is the Bush law. The quail is in the bush. Some of you understand that saying. The quail is in the bush. Dan Quayle, George Bush. The quail is in the bush. And this is the law of removing any black role models, because every time we get one, there's a scandal. Every time you look to someone, oh, he did this, she did that. And we're replaying the birth of the nation from John. And Kevin Hart is a cheater, right? Everybody's a bad person. Steve Harvey dating Marjorie while he was still married. And this narrative
going to be playing. So, with us looking at the title for today, when black celebrities step out of place. So when we say step out of place, does this, because some people think, well, once they get money, they are above because you could buy your freedom, you could go to jail, get locked up. And obviously that's not the case, because Diddy can't get out right now, right?
Yeah, so you're not above being. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So is it that we are above the law, or do we forget our beginnings? Do we forget to say, hey, I'm really in it for this. I'm really in it to help this group of people. Do we lose track or lose sight. And everybody has their own visions for what they want to do when they become famous or whatever. But is it that, most people lose track of what it is that they want to do once they obtain money?
No, it's that most people lose track of the white man's the devil, right? He's not your
Yeah.
friend. No, I'm being honest, right? You're going into an industry that's dominated by racism, white supremacy, and you're trusting. I was just reading an article today. Dwight Howard, the basketball player, his accountant, his financial advisor stole $7 million from him. Well, is this a new story? Left Eye and T Boss. What was the name of their group? Waterfalls. What's it called? TLC.
TLC. Mm-hmm.
They had major tax issues because their accountant stole like 100 million from them and left them on broke, owing taxes. Right. So we forget who he is. The devil don't have no friends. You might have to deal with them, but in your dealings with them, please remember they are who they are. And at the first chance they get, they're going to bite you. Now, it may not be a bite from a poisonous snake, but it's still a bite from a snake.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It may not be a poisonous snake.
Yeah,
We got
but
some
it's a snake.
non-poisonous snakes in the world. So the non-poisonous Canaanite will make you think and will get you to think. You start trusting the poisonous Canaanites because of the non-poisonous. The non-poisonous is the snake you play with. You put it back in the tank and you feed it a mouse. And oh man, to the mouse, it's dangerous. But that non-poisonous snake, because we keep being around what I call the unicorns, they condition you mentally to start to see everybody as non-threatening. And when meanwhile, now you're sitting with the viper. So you're getting into the industry, and in the industry, what happens? These moguls, the Clive Davis who taught Puffy how to do business. And I ain't talking about how to do business, money business, because Clive Davis, everybody know. You can go on YouTube and read up on him. You go on Google, you can buy books. Tommy Mottola from Sony Records, who Michael Jackson and Mariah Carey, who was married, said this man is a literal devil, Satan himself. These guys are into orgies. These guys are into all of the nastiness and introduce these black men into the pornography, through the video. Who's controlling most of the videos we're watching for the last 20, 30 years? The producers were white guys who were producing these videos, directing these videos, shooting these videos. And the executives telling the young black rappers what they're supposed to rap about, what's hot and what's going to sell and what they're going to push. There's a whole history on it.
Because it started with conscious rap, right? Exactly. So what happened? Where did the shift take place?
Well, again, the shift came. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world, lose his soul? So they started buying people. And creating. Most of the artists like your Drakes and them, these were created artists. The real artists, the real Rakims and the Tretch and those guys who were true to the game, they got them out because those guys were going in like, you're going to give me my money. I ain't doing no homosexual stuff in the back room. I ain't down with none of that stupidness. So they said, okay, we're having a problem. So let's create the artist. So they went to the Grassy and got a Drake, brought him back out, and he's supposed to be, they know. No, they don't know. Okay, we know a plan, right? And Lil Wayne was a clean-cut kid, no dreads, no piercings, no scissored, none of that stuff, no tattoos. Look what they've done to him. Strung out on scissored and some other kind of drugs with a porn addiction. Now, people can act like they don't know this, but he's admitted what's going on in his life. You understand? He had kissed Birdman. It's his dad, but it's not his Birdman kissing him in the mouth. He's my son. No, he's not. He's not your son. He's not your son. You're grooming this teenager. Let's have a real conversation. But they can't talk about it. Everybody talks about what happens to the young black girls. What's happening to these young black? What happened to in the music industry with Jermaine Dupri and Chris Cross? Where one of the guys from Chris Cross said this guy was molesting us. This is going on. But these the Dupris, the moguls, the black moguls, they were put in power by their father, the devil, by the person that they align with in the industry. And I'm calling them what they are. These are devils.
Right. That's true.
These are devils. Puffy became a devil. Dupree became a devil. But but in their devilishment, they still have capital that at any moment they could have had a moment of consciousness. But worse, it now says that no matter how much intelligence or wealth or money or singing or dancing or athletics a black man has, Francis Cresswell says ISIS paper, you are the threat because you have the genetic material The black
Yeah.
man is the threat because we have the genetic material to breed
Yes.
him out of existence, and he fears that. The
Come on,
hyena
Buster. That's right.
fears what the lion has the capacity to do, and these lions are, instead of taking their monies and investing it into their people, opening up supermarket. Magic Johnson, do we know if he got AIDS? No, we just know they told him he had AIDS. When did they tell him he had AIDS? Right after he was trying to buy a basketball team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they said he'll never own a team because if they allowed him to own a team, it sets a precedence for other athletes to own a team.
Yes.
Michael Jordan tried to own a team. He owned one, bought it from Bob Johnson. They made sure that team never won nothing to where he had to sell it. Give it another couple of years, that team's going to win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
Black man coaching the Golden State Warriors, puts the team together, named Mark Jackson, puts the
Mm-hmm.
team together, doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, doesn't curse, make sure the players are clean cut. He bought Draymond, he bought Steph Curry, he bought the other young man, Klay Thompson, put that team together. Golden State's record turned around. Next year, they fired him. He ain't been hired in 10 years, and they give the credit for what he put together, they give it to Steve Kerr.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Jackson, meanwhile, can't get hired. He can't get hired. And he keeps saying, I don't know what I did. I'm the clean guy. That's the problem. They don't
Mm-hmm.
got nothing on you. That's what you
Yes,
did.
that's the
What you
problem.
didn't
Yeah.
do. You don't have nothing they can hold over your head. Same thing happened at the Dallas Mavericks. Avery Johnson was the coach of the Dallas Mavericks. Black brother. Put the team together, got everything going. They make it to the finals, lose in 7. Next year, they get rid of him, bring a white guy in, they win a championship. He ain't been able to get hired in the NBA. This is something that we keep seeing. If they don't have nothing on you, they got to create something on you.
Yes.
Kobe dies in a helicopter crash, though he had the capital and was interested in owning a team. What's the
Yep.
chances?
How?
How?
How does that work?
How's
Yeah.
that work? Then old Kobe. Then they start. But meanwhile, the legacy they leave you with: oh, he had sex with the white girl and he cheated on his wife and bought the $1 million
And
ring.
try to bring that up.
And every time you try to glorify him, they bring that up as a way. This is a
Yep.
rule. Black people got to stop falling for it. I'm not saying who's innocent and who's not. I'm saying we are participating in the birth of a nation. We're
So,
participating in it.
so what I would like you to answer for us, please, before we take a quick commercial break, right? Because this is a setup. It's all a setup from the beginning to the end. So, someone may
But
say,
we're
well,
participating in the setup. That's the
and
problem.
that's the part. So, what is it? And that's what I'm asking is because some people will be like, well, if that's their behavior, if we were righteous people, right? If we were people with some type of consciousness, we wouldn't stand for it. But it seems like most of us, when the music shifts, when people become popularized in their messaging, when it comes to drinking, smoking, sex, orgies, whatever it is, it seems like everyone shifts with them. So how does that shift take place in the sense of, you know, the audience, the viewers? What's our participation in it in our personal lives? That's what I'm talking about. Because
Well,
we may call the other person and say, look at what's happening on TV, but life, as you teach, imitates art. So what's happening at home? That's the question.
what we're seeing, if we went online right now and type in Black people participating in orgies, that's the big thing that's going on in the Black community. Now, is that happening with every Black person? Of course not. But is the media saying that Black people are now participating in orgies, in large Black orgies in Black numbers? Yes. So the thing that everyone is, I remember years ago, they was like, R. Kelly peed on the girl. I saw the tape. I said, oh, so you like watching little girls get peed on? And everybody just looked at me. I think
Now,
because
why would you
you
watch
knew
that?
you knew the tape was about him peeing on a girl, right?
And you
And you went
clicked
to
it.
watch it to confirm it. Yeah. Help me
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand. No, I was just making sure. Who are you? You work for the FBI, the police? No, you don't need to go watch that tape. The moment you watch that tape, you just participated in child pornography. What if, and that's a crime,
That's
to
fact.
watch a video of a child being sexually assaulted is a crime. So let's get all the Black people watching the Vantage Point right now, and they're going to watch this later, who watched the R. Kelly pee on the girl tape. You're supposed to be getting turned in.
Yep.
See, and that's how the devil works. He makes it where he's going to tell you or convince you that it's okay under this circumstance to do this behavior.
Right.
It's
Right.
okay in the privacy of your own bedroom to use this sex toy.
Mm,
It's okay to use the lubricant. It's okay to use it's okay. And he keeps moving the needle
needle.
1 degree at a time. One,
Mm,
it's okay to get a tattoo. It's no big deal. It's just a tattoo. As long as it's something significant. It's okay to get
yeah.
your eye.
Yeah.
It's okay to get a BDL. It's okay. And before we don't, it's okay to where now we are so
Everything
twisted.
goes. Anything
Everything
goes.
goes. Everything's a go. Everything's allowed. This
Mhm.
is the problem. We are participating in our own BB Francis Cress Wilson, Dr. Francis, BB Marimba Annie, Dr. Marimba Annie, BB Clenora Hudson Weems, Dr. Clenora, Dr. Shahrazad Ali, and I'm putting
Yeah.
doctor there because he's a doctor of us, right?
Yes.
These great
Yes.
women, they warned us. Baba Neely Fuller warned us.
Mm.
Baba Elijah Muhammad in the message to the black man warned us.
Mm-hmm.
BB Amy Jacques Garvey and Baba Marcus Mosiah Garvey and Africa for the Africans by Amy Jacques Garvey, the philosophies and opinion. In their writings, they told us this
Mm-hmm.
day would come. Sheikh Issa wrote a book, The Year 2000 and What to Expect. In there, he said, watch what they're
Mm.
going to do to the athletes. So we're watching the prophecies of our prophets, black people. We got people that came for us,
Yes.
and their words and their teachings are manifesting each day. Those of
Mm.
us who've been around long enough, or who are purveyors or studiers, I should say, of history, we know what we're looking at. And we're just trying. I'm trying my darndest every day to just keep saying to people, anybody who's around me, I'm like, no, don't, this is this. We be mindful of this. And I know sometimes it gets. I'm sure the people around me start going, oh my God, he's not going to stop. And I'm like, you don't know, and I don't know when it's going to be my last breath. So I'm going to do as much as I can to get as much in the heads of those people who look like me, who care for me, who care for this thing called liberation. I'm going to try to put as much into their heads as my teacher put into mine, because if tomorrow I'm not here, at least you know what to do and have an idea of what you're looking at.
Yes.
For all
Yes.
the other Negroes say, oh man, anybody can remember. Okay, Negro, you're going to understand because it's coming. Read
Yes.
Project 2025. Understand what's in play. This is what we're looking at. We're looking at it right now. And
Okay.
it's not going to get any better if we don't figure out what we're doing to move out the way. It's not going to get any better.
Dr. Varma, if I may ask you a question, please.
Sure.
And I'm asking this because I feel it's important for us to kind of understand what, not just, what's taking place on an inner, a more intimate level, on a spiritual level, on a mental level. You authored a book called Love Lies Liberation, um, Science and Art of Sex as taught by the Men Priesthood. And in the book, you spoke about this sex spirit force. So as we're looking at the orgies, as we're looking at the 3, 5, 8 sums, the man on man, the woman on woman, that has crept its way into Black lives, Black people's bedrooms. What is this sex spirit force, and how does it consume a person? How does it make a person addicted to the base behaviors, the debased practices? Please let us understand the spiritual aspects of this, because we have little boys watching and little girls watching, and not only are they looking up to a lot of these artists, but they're going to school around mixed crowds of people. So even if they're growing up in a home where their parent is teaching them the right thing, they're still amongst other company. And being amongst other company, they might even be in a crowd where, or in a school where they're surrounded by Canaanites, mostly by Europeans. And so they may begin to see that as beautiful, or as, like, maybe it's the only option, but it's a spirit force that comes with intermingling in that way. And that's what I would like you to speak on, please.
Well, I think it's important that we look at, if we're looking at the scriptures, right? Book of Revelations, it talks about the mystery name of the harlot. And it says that the mystery name of the harlot is pornography. What took place was the introduction of pornography in order to normalize the gyration and the nudity on the sets of rap and R&B videos. They had to introduce young boys to pornography. And once pornography was introduced, where you're looking at a picture or a video, or nowadays on the internet, people watch of a naked man, naked woman, and having sex and whatever it is that people watch when they're doing it, that begins to put in the psyche where you can never look at in a normal way another human being, because now this woman or this man is now an object of lust, not an object of affection, not an object of care, but an object of pleasure or lust leading to pleasure. What I mean by that, if we look at today in the world that we find ourselves unfortunately having to navigate, years ago, you didn't go out the house wearing lingerie. Lingerie was for the bedroom. Before that, before they had lingerie in the bedroom, which is the stripper clothes, the voyeurs of the cabarets and things of that nature, the Rockettes at Radio City Music Hall. Before that, women wore nightgowns. A nightgown. A gown. It was long. It was ladylike. It was a nightgown, a gown she put on at night. And then they moved from the nightgown to the lingerie. Then they moved to where the lingerie is now worn in the street. You go home, the woman will wear a burqa, hoodies, sweatpants, sweat hoods, all that at home with her husband, walk out the door and put on lingerie and jeans and the high heels. So the whole foundation, they say all of the foundations of the earth are out of order. So the men are behaving outside of man. The women are behaving outside of regal ladies and noblemen. Where everything's being done in the adverse, in the adverse behaviors. Mm-hmm. When we see this happening, we have to stop and say, as we talked about in Love, Lies, Liberation, Science and Art of Sex, what is it that has happened in the bedroom or in our psyche as it pertains to sexuality that these behaviors became normal? Well, yes. Television. Years ago, you saw somebody kiss on TV, little kid, you do like this to try to see. Now, oh my gosh, it's porn. It's LGBTQ on the regular station. It's everything goes. So sex is being pushed, that mystery, that pornography. And so whereas a child was supposed to be a child until they came into adulthood and then would be learned about it, now it's in your face 24/7. And if it's in your face 24/7, it's triggering lust, desire, lust, desire, lust. Not compassion, not care. Now we're in the bedroom and the man's looking at the woman and all he could see is the video. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. She don't know that he's replaying the video. Yeah. Or he don't know that she's replaying the video nowadays. Mm-hmm. He don't know if she's replaying her escapade with the sex toy, or vice versa, or he's replaying his escapade with the sex toy. We don't know anymore. There's a disconnect. They've normalized these behaviors, these what we used to call deviant behaviors. Mm. Right? These were called deviancies. These were in the psychology books. This was called sexual deviancy. But now it's just sex. Because of one group of people who could not have children. Sex was, at the end of the day, its purpose, its ultimate purpose, was to conceive and bring forth new life. But because these people, all throughout Europe, throughout Korea, throughout Japan, throughout China, throughout America, these melanin recessive people are no longer able to have children. When this happens, they had to create another purpose for sex, which is just pleasure, just fun. It's called heathenistic. It's called the other group who focuses on do as thou wilt, live as thou wilt, humanist. And these humanists are promoting it. You don't hear these guys, other than when they get a reward. I want to thank God. Obviously, the God of this world, according to Corinthians, is the devil. So I want to thank God. Which God was Puffy thanking? Which God is Birdman thanking? Which God is Meryl Streep thanking? Because none of them go to church. It's the first group of people that thank God in every award, country award. But do they go to church on Sunday? No. Do they go to mosque on Friday? No. Do they go to synagogue on Saturday? No. But they always go up to get their Academy Award, their Oscar, black, white, green, blue. I want to thank God. Which God are they thanking? Because none of them go to no building to give praise. Well, you don't have to go to the building. You can pray at home. No, scripture says I was given to read like unto a rod and told to rise up and measure those that worship therein. So you're supposed to be worshiping somewhere.
Yes.
So who's Birdman thanking when he thanks God? It ain't the God we serve, because the God I serve, I ain't kissing no boy in the mouth and say he my son when he not my son. That's a little scary.
Yeah, a lot of
Like we
scary.
don't see that, right?
A lot
We're
of
gonna act like we
scary.
didn't see that. That was,
Different.
that's just brotherhood. I love my brother. I got a big brother, Tony.
Ain't that much love.
He ain't never. Nah, I don't like him like that. I'm sorry if he ever sees this. I don't like you like that, right? He gets it because he raised me like, yo, we don't do that, stupid.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is, you're watching this, and somebody is at play. They got these people. We're now idol worshiping. We're worshiping IDOL, the idol. We're watching people. This is the New York Yankees World Series against the Boston Red Sox playing against the LA Dodgers. We're watching the LeBron James Lakers. This is CBS Sports, and they're playing this week against OKC. A bunch of fake news. That's not news.
No.
They've been playing championships before I was born. They're going to be playing after I'm gone. And every year they're fighting to the world. How are you the world champion only playing in one country? I thought the world was the world. This is the World Series.
Yeah.
Only being played by some people in one country. This is Miss World pageant, Miss Universe. They're the universe pageant. I didn't see no extraterrestrials in the Miss Universe pageant. So this ugly looking little white girl is the universe. She's the standard. She's not the standard of beauty in America anymore. She's not the standard of beauty in the world anymore. She's the standard of beauty in the universe. Good gosh. But if Honorable Elijah Muhammad says the black man is the original Asiatic black man, maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization, and God of the universe. Oh, what he mean by that? When the white girl gets on TV and says she's Miss Universe, she can be Miss. It's just propaganda. I know they're gonna be mad at me, but I don't really care. I speak what I speak, and I'm that other kind of pastor. I'm not being funded by no agency, so I can tell them F off because they don't pay my bills. This is what it is. What I'm saying to people, as we're watching, the needle is shifted. The needle is shifted. We got to start making sure. That's why I wrote the book Love, Lies, Liberation over 20 years ago. We got to start making sure that we curtail our home and outside the home understanding of relationships, sexuality, because when you don't, that needle is real thin. That needle is real thin. If I got my little, I don't know what the sex toys for men are called, but whatever it's called, the pocket vagina, if I got my little pocket vagina and they got a Bluetooth, no, this is real. I'm a computer person. I program.
Yes,
right?
Yes,
and it got a Bluetooth, or it got some kind of buttons that I got to press for like level 12, suction 13, whatever that is. I'm making this up, but it's funny to me, right? That thing is learning me.
Yes, it is.
Just like my Spotify playlist can learn me. Just like my social media fingerprints, what sites I go to can learn me. Just like my Facebook posts can learn me, or my Instagram or Twitter or TikTok can learn me. Well, this thing that as a man that I'm participating in, it's studying me. And the net is learning how to manipulate this type of individual.
Yes.
It begins to compile and say, this type of conscious individual is into these types of deviant behaviors. If I go online and order some liquor, this type of talking pastor, preacher, teacher, whatever I call myself, this type of person likes to drink this type of alcohol. It is, and this is why they know how to take people out of the equation. They're studying our weaknesses. They're studying, they say everyone has a vice.
Yes.
And first of all, that's not true, right? Everyone doesn't have a vice. My 3-year-old, he don't have a vice. He doesn't. He don't have a vice. He'll nag you, he'll beg you for something. Mom will get stressed, I'll get stressed. But he don't have a vice. He ain't sitting in the corner like, so mom, check it, right? That's not what's happening. But they'll keep saying it. We'll keep saying, yeah, everybody got a vice to justify me going out and getting one. No, why do I need one? Why do I want one? Why do I want to have a weakness? Why not push me myself or ourselves towards strength?
Yes.
You
Yes.
understand? But they
Mm-hmm.
told you so you got to live a little. You got to
Mm-hmm.
let your hair down. Thank goodness I don't have none, so I'm okay with that. You got to let your hair down a little bit. You got to go out a little bit. Don't let nobody keep you home. Girl, take that vacation. Tuck those kids somewhere and go chill somewhere. All of these things, it's conditioning for black men and black women to participate in our own destruction. I'm not saying don't go to the movies. I'm not saying don't go bowling. I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying we got to understand the difference between having, I'm gonna say clean fun, right? It's a
Yes.
better word
Yeah.
because fun don't mean that, right? But
Right.
having beneficial excitement, beneficial interactions with other people,
Yes.
clean entertainment and
Mm-hmm.
entertainment.
Right.
There's entrainment and there's edutainment.
Mm-hmm.
Entrainment is watching shows that are programming the mind and entrapping the mind in a cycle where it's telling you, it's like meeting imagine if men, when we meet a woman and we lay with her, we say, well, I thought women like this, or I thought women like that. Women would say, what would make you think we like X, Y, and Z? Because the dominant culture is programming what's acceptable in the bedroom. You can get out the bed and don't bathe and put your clothes on and go start your day. Yuck. Who does that? That's what they're showing us in the movies. So we've got to, as melanated people, decide we are no longer going to participate in his anything. We're going to define what is natural sexual union for us. We're going to define how to educate our children with the things that they need to function, whether it's a skill or a degree for us. We're going to decide what's music to us. We're going to decide who our heroes are for us. You're not letting you choose our heroes anymore. We're not letting you determine our course or our destiny. If we don't do that, we're going to keep watching it. Next week, it's going to be another one. They're going to take these videos and puffies and this, and they're going to pull more names and more names. And black people going to be like, yeah, see, I knew them then. Right. And that's all great. But at the other side of the equation, right before they put the Jews in those gas chambers, they took all their wealth so they could not amass any type of defense. We're watching it happen right now. I pray black people really can pay attention to it.
Okay. One more question for you, then I would like to segue into the next part of the conversation. As a teacher and as my guide, as my leader, you say things one way, but I'm asking you, right? As my husband, you explain it a little different. So I'm asking you for the audience, if you can give it that same way when it comes to how people, the viewers say, hey, well, I use the dildo, the sex toys, the dildos, and participated in the three. So everything you just named, I did because I thought it was normal, or maybe I made a mistake or whatever the case may be. Once that spirit forces on you, is there a way back from it? What would you recommend? Is this something that you have in the book? Like, what would you say for people who feel kind of shamed of the behaviors? And I'm just saying, give it raw, give it to us raw. Thank you.
First thing, this is where I would tell people that, you need a voodoo doll, right? No, all jokes aside, right? No, I had to say something crazy because I can
Yes,
feel everybody like, right? The way the world freezes. No,
yes,
what
yes.
I would tell people as a husband, as a brother, as a father, as a teacher, as a mentor, I would say to everyone, the first phase is you need discipline. A unconscious people don't function without discipline, just like a child. The child doesn't know better, right? They're young, they're 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, whatever years old, and they don't know better. So how do we teach them better? We give them discipline. We give them rules. Before you cross the street, look both ways. Don't play with the stove or you're going to get burned. Make sure when you finish eating, clean up after yourself. When you're bathing in the tub, make sure you got the mat down. If not, you're going to fall. When you go to school, pay attention. If someone's speaking and you got to interrupt, say, excuse me, say please and thank you. We give all these rules to our children, and our children, the old saying, your children are you, do you like what you see? So we give all these rules to our children. And if I took all of us as adults and say, do we follow these same rules? Do we always say please and thank you? Do we always look both ways before we cross the street? No. So the disciplines come in saying what you mean, meaning what you say. Live what you're advocating. We need discipline. And we need to review, revamp, readdress, renew ourselves and our commitment to our true spirituality as melanated people from the continent, from the Caribbean, from South America, from North America, the indigenous people. Get back to what we were, because none of these things, the Cherokee, the Choctaw, the Mandan, the Cheyenne, the Arawak, the Taino, the Iwe, the Fanti, the Zulu, whatever we were, the Ainu people, wherever we were in the world, we didn't have the prostitution, we didn't have the threesomes, we didn't have the fivesomes, we didn't have the wife swap, we didn't have the husband swap, we didn't have the vibrator, we didn't have the pocket vagina, we didn't have none of that. We thrived for millions of years. We ruled for millions of years. We ate, we slept, we had children, we built empires, we had kingdoms, we had queendoms, we came together, we battled, we did everything without this mess. And all the way through slavery, we was jumping the broom to be married.
Yes.
Talk about black people that had a commitment issue. No, they did. This man risked his life to marry. All the way through the civil rights. And then someone said, you're equal to me. Tricked us. Dr. King was not fighting for what they call affirmative action. He wasn't fighting for civil rights. He was fighting for separate but equal. Read his book, Where Do We Go From Now, Chaos or Community? Read his writings that he wrote after the I Had a Dream speech. He said, I was not fighting for civil rights. I was fighting for separate but equal. Give me the resources and let me use and distribute it the way I want. And instead, they gave him, give me your best minds and I'll bust them to a white school where we're either going to bleach their mind or destroy their sense of who they are. And this is what happens in the music industry, entertainment industry, science industry. They either bleach them. Just last year, I don't know how many people forgot how many black educators, how many PhD women, black women committing suicide, educated black women. Anybody? I don't know if how many people remember this. It's just Azandi, right? Educated black women committing suicide.
Yes, yes.
Huh? We forgot.
Yes. Yep.
We forgot. We forgot what was happening. University of Lincoln University, she committed suicide, and they said it spotlighted what was going on in the world. And she was one of many black women, brilliant black women who killed themselves.
Yeah.
Because black women were having struggles in higher education. They were getting their education, getting out there, and then white men and white women were blocking them, the racism, and this was happening in all these institutions.
Yes.
What happened to these stories? But we know what's happening with R. Kelly.
Yeah.
We didn't get a surviving racism, white supremacy special. We got a surviving R. Kelly. We got a Diddy Do It. We got all this stuff. And again, I'm not saying don't watch it. Watch everything. I'm saying someone is keeping us looking in the other direction. Black woman suicide rates skyrocketing. This is 2024, January, this year. Recent research, the Bay State Banner has identified a troubling trend, the rise in suicide rates among black women and girls. Then they turn around and say, black man killing himself. So black people killing themselves. Are we really killing ourselves? And my next question is, how is it that most of these people who are killing themselves are all going to see white psychiatrists, white psychologists, and white counselors?
Right.
Are these counselors talking them? Are they Kevorkian is a suicide doctor. He used to assist people in killing themselves. They called him Jack Kevorkian, and they arrested him because you're a psychiatrist and you're manipulating these people's minds for them to say to you, I want to die. The same way Tavistock in England, there's a big lawsuit. All these young people were convinced that I'm a boy who wants to be a girl who wants to be a boy. They had these surgeries and then woke up one day and said, wait a minute, I don't feel this way. And then they found out Tavistock psychologists were convincing them and manipulating their mind to do these surgeries as a test. Yeah. This is not me. This is not fake news. Yes. This is happening. Yes. So black women committing suicide, black men are hanging themselves, black boys are saying they're a girl, a girl, black boys are, or is someone, black people are, black people, black people, melanated people, sisters, brothers, forget me, put me out the equation, hate me, I'm okay with that, I don't like me all the time either. But start to put 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. Start to add things together. Start to do basic math, just basic addition. As we're talking now, I'm
sure
what
we're going to do.
Okay, go ahead.
That's what we're going to do after the break. We have a couple more questions to kind of put these pieces together and to understand what the future looks like. What is this directing us and pushing us towards? So when we come back, we'll go further into discussion. We want to thank everyone who's tuned in to The Vantage Point. I'm your host, Azandi, and we'll be right back.
Right now, get conscious news every month. Stay up to date with the Cryptic Revealer. Every month, you can expect conscious perspectives, balanced advice, inspirational stories, together with provoking discussions on every topic. Read and enjoy a magazine that goes beyond and above the scenes. What you waiting for? Start your collection now. This full-color magazine for just $3 US. You can get it as a PDF to read on the go, or as a physical copy to read in the comfort of your homes. Stacking too high? Don't throw it. You can leave it at the train stations, barber salons, taxis, buses, cafes. Someone will need it. The Cryptic Revealer at www.journeymomgroup.com.
What has happened to the Nubian Melanite male? My brother, what are you doing? Look at you standing over there. How have you forgotten who you are? Come on, man. We're better than this. Killing each other, selling drugs in our neighborhood, listening to crazy music, allowing women, our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, our wives, to go unprotected. When do we stand? Who will stand with me? Will we fix the world in which we find ourselves today? Can it be done? I say yes. What say you? Join the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah, Journey Home Group International, today.
Is the Nubian male an endangered species? Order your book today at www.journeyhomegroup.com.
Welcome back to the Vantage Point. I'm your host, Azandi Malinki, and you're tuned into your Conscious Podcast. We want to thank you again for joining us another week, and we ask that you share this podcast. If you're just joining us, we did ask that everyone go into Spotify, type in the Vantage Point, and listen to part of the podcast so that we can increase our views and we can begin to monetize and produce a better show for you. We can bring different people on. We have some really, really incredible things planned, faces that you're going to want to see, people that you're going to want to hear from, some of the moguls, some of the these are the best people that we can have amongst us and hear from today. And so we ask for your support and we ask for your help to make that happen, right? Because we don't want opportunities to pass us. We want to capture some of these brilliant minds and some of these brilliant souls as we have them here. So we ask for your help and your support. Again, welcome back. We have with us today one of our amazing, brilliant minds that helps us here on the Vantage Point, giving us a different perspective, a perspective that we need to know, and just helping us uncover these different layers throughout this conversation. So welcome back, Dr. Varmah.
Thank you, Sister Azandi, for having me on here.
I'd like to, before we get started, I would like to take a minute just to play a clip, because sometimes people may think, it's a biased message, because this person comes on or that person comes on. It may seem biased, but I want us to see what other people are saying. So if you don't mind, Dr. Varmah, me just playing a clip really quickly.
Sure thing.
Okay. We'll be right
Never left.
Yep.
Him. I think about him, a guy like LL, acting and doing the things he's done in movies and television shows. Jay-Z producing shows, producing movies. We can't ignore all of that. I marvel at that. But I asked you that question because I want to transition to something else as well. The news about Diddy.
Oh.
Homeland Security is raiding his homes in L.A. and Miami. They're raiding P. Diddy's property. I never thought I'd see that.
In broad daylight.
In broad daylight.
Yeah, because normally when the federales come, they come at 4 o'clock in the morning when you sleep.
So, because they came in broad daylight, what do you make of it?
I think it was a big grandstand situation.
Because it was daylight.
It was daylight. It was sending a message. It was sending a message that this is what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. I mean, it obviously covered every news station. Everybody got to see, them grabbing the kids out, which I had a little problem with.
Yeah. You ain't after the kids, you after him. That's not
yeah. And that, grabbing the kids, dragging them out, putting them in handcuffs. That could be traumatizing for these type of kids. These type of kids ain't lived on no street life. They don't know nothing about that. They live the good life, which, because their parents provided that for them. But I think, a lot of guys like the Diddys and the Kanye Wests of the world, when you go cut them deals, when you go in the back room and you cut them deals with the major corporations, you need to know where you stand at. You need to know that, that these people really own you, at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know how to play the game, and I don't think he played the game in the right way, because at the end, if you're gonna sue Diageo, you better have your stuff together.
Yeah.
Because
the politicians love them.
That politicians love. They're arguably the number one liquor brand in the world. You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, when you look at politics and how politics work, these type of corporations do what? They put money into politicians' campaign fund.
But that's why I think he's in a world of trouble. And I don't know anything. I don't want anybody to think I know anything. Diddy is always cool with me. He always treats me with respect. I hope that he's innocent of what he's of what they're investigating for. Some sex ring, some sex trafficking ring, and all of this stuff. I hope he's innocent of all that. I don't know what the hell is going on, but I do feel this way. In the world of big business. And this needs to be said while I'm sitting right next to you, Luke Campbell. In the world of big business, when you make an enemy of big business, along the way, they know enough about you.
Yes, they do.
To come for you when they want to come for you.
Yes, they do.
You understand? And it don't have to involve jail. It doesn't have to involve a crime. It can involve them squeezing you out of your money.
Yes,
making sure they humble you beyond repair.
Yes, and that's what you see right now with Diddy, and you see that with Kanye West. You know when.
So, the video is available online. But, I think it's so in line with what you're saying. And it's like, we look to their system to be a means of success and to showboat and to feel as though we really accomplished something. But it's a part of a system to keep us entrapped and to create evidence along the way to say, okay, when it's time to take you down, when it's time, when your play is up, all I got to do is just one simple, one simple push of a button, and it's over. So, from what we heard, what is it that we need to know about how to best navigate these circumstances? What pieces are we missing?
Well, I think the piece we're missing is what Baba Marcus Mosiah Garvey gave us, and Baba Elijah Muhammad gave us, and Sheikh Isa Al-Hadi Al-Mahdi gave us, and that we got to do for self, and we got to get away from him. That as you are amassing your money, and I'm not talking about just the moguls, I'm talking about the mom and pops, right? The regular folks like you and me. As you make your little money every week, put up something to get out. Put up $10, put up $20, put up $5, put up $1, put up 25 cents, don't buy the lotto ticket, put the money for the lotto ticket in a jar. If you if you're doing lotto 5 nights a week at $2 a night, that's $10 a week. If you do that for the year, that's $10 a week times 52 weeks. If you do that for 10 years, you got about 50 grand. It can be done. You follow the discipline, though. Back to that thing called discipline. Ultimately, we've got to reconnect to the continent. Stevie Wonder, his net worth is over 200 million. I just looked it up, right? Net worth over 200 million. Moved to Africa. Dave Chappelle, rich, moved to Africa. What's the young man who what? I don't know his name.
Lil Jon.
Lil Jon. Lil Jon lives in back and forth in Ghana. The smart ones understand if you're rich enough to get out on your own, get out. If we're poor enough where we can't get out on our own, then come together and amass enough to get out. We've got to come out. The scripture says, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her iniquities, of her sin, nor receive of her plagues. So you think and I think we're going to live in England, we're going to live in America, we're going to live in France, we're going to live in Italy, Germany, Portugal, Spain, Paris. We think we're going to live in these places and not either get their diseases or start living deliciously in their iniquity.
Come on, yes.
Because the lot, and I'm saying this for everyone, including myself, I knew better. When I left New York City and went to college upstate, every summer, every winter, my mother said, I'm going to do not coming to, Why? I'm done with the city. When we moved to Florida, I said, I don't want my children being raised in the city. We found the middle of Okefenokee, Riverview at the time was nothing but strawberry fields and orange groves. I said, I'm not raising in potato fields, not raising my children in Tampa. We're going to have to drive back and forth to Tampa an hour every day. I said, I know, but that's what we're going to have to do. Because if we had raised you in Tampa, I know what's going to happen because I was the latchkey kid coming home by myself, and I know the stuff we got into.
Yes.
And I was a good kid, right? I was the good kid getting into stuff. So I don't know what the other kids was getting into. So it's understanding that whether you live in the Caribbean, we've got to go home, black man, black woman. We've got to go home. And I don't mean home to the big city either. I ain't saying leave New York to go to Lagos because it's there. I ain't saying leave California to go to Monrovia because it's there. I'm saying we got to go places where we can get land, or if you're in the West, we have to grab land that's available and build our own neighborhoods and begin to educate our children and defend ourselves and influence who we can for the better and avoid who we can to prevent becoming the worst. Right. That's the only answer. The answer is, we say Nazarite, which means to separate. Leave him, render to Caesar, give Caesar his. Hey, Caesar, that's you. Pornography, that belongs to Caesar. Wife swap, husband swap, that's you. Sex toys, that's Caesar. All that's Caesar. Caesar can have that. But if I don't get away from these things, it's going to come back and bite me. I'm gonna say this again.
Go ahead. When you say that, I just want to be clear. What is it that, as these things are taking place, right? Trying to destroy the Black man, trying to make us seem as if we're animals, trying to degrade the Black woman, for what purpose? Not
the same purpose of before. No, not just white genetic survival. Mm-hmm. The European respects two things: his life and his money. His money right now, his economy in Greece collapsed. His economy in America lost its AAA rating. Its economy in England lost its AAA rating. They've lost, their economy has dropped. What made America a mighty nation?
The economy, the economic.
No, but what in the economy? Prison labor, free labor, slavery.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Slavery did this. There's a documentary I sent to you. I'm not sure if you have it, where it showed Black people who are eligible for parole, have done everything necessary in the state of Alabama. Please play it.
Let me try to find it. Please.
If you can play it, because I don't want people thinking this is just, we just making stuff up. No, this stuff is happening now. It's happening now. Somebody is putting things into effect. I got it. If you don't,
you have it. Okay, perfect. Yes.
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it wasn't letting me share anyways.
This is something that people have to be made to see, because we have a thing where we don't like to see what's reality. We don't want to see that.
You see, the thing is, it seems as though it's something that's going to keep happening, but not really to the point of destroying the lives of the way that people live now. They go to work, they have a little fun, they go drink, they go smoke, they chill. It doesn't seem as though it's going to interrupt that illusion.
Right,
so when you say
like it is, but it is interrupted.
Because it's been happening. So you're like, it's just going to keep happening the same way that it's been happening.
Right,
so I need you to paint a picture as to what the future looks like. Like, what does it look like for us?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's take a look.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring it up and let them watch it, and then I'll ask them what the future looks like. Yeah, this is right now.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Let me see if I can play it.
It's just about.
Does that feel
I
right?
was just about to say that's slavery. That's slavery. You took away the whips, but you put the paperwork. Took away the masters and you put them in uniform. Same difference. Same difference.
It kind of appears that there is a coordinated system in order to protect the labor that's created by the prison system.
Walk into a McDonald's in Alabama, and the worker flipping your McDouble could be an incarcerated person.
It's a sad situation, a way they getting rich off us.
The Alabama Department of Corrections farms out incarcerated people to work at hundreds of private companies and government agencies across the state.
McDonald's, Burger King, Golden Corral, Wendy's. They got a Wendy's contract right now. State Trooper's office.
They'll send everybody everywhere.
They'll send you everywhere. Yes, the parole office.
And even though ADOC trusts these incarcerated people to leave prison every day and work alongside the general public, many of them are still denied the chance at real freedom.
I work for y'all, but when I come up from parole, you deny me. Why would you deny me? Because you're getting free service.
This is a story about corporations and the state of Alabama exploiting prison labor and the coercive policies they use to keep its citizens trapped in servitude.
It doesn't work. It's a terrible system.
If you're wondering how any of this is even legal, well, it might not be. That's what we went to Alabama to figure out.
So yeah, could you just describe how long you worked here? And
I was here 18 months. I ran their kitchen. by myself from 8 to 5 every Thursday, Tuesday through Thursday.
Wow,
Yeah.
that sounds like hard work.
It was.
Elizabeth Thomas was in the Alabama Work Release Program for 5 of her 15 years in prison.
So they had a combination of incarcerated people and free world people.
Yes. Yes.
Did you feel like there was a difference how they treated?
Oh, most definitely. We work longer hours.
Make the work release work over or work extra days. Don't want to give you off days. Like, no, I got to eat my health. I have to get rest. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a machine. But that's how they look at you. Like,
This is Quincy Sanders. During his nearly 17 years in prison, he worked at several restaurants, a lumber yard, and McDonald's.
like working a real job and trying to stay being incarcerated is a very hard experience. You have to be mind strong, really.
Alabama has one of the most overcrowded and deadly prison systems in the United States. Even the Justice Department found conditions there to be unconstitutional. In 2023, almost a person a day died in Alabama prisons, which is almost 5 times the national average.
They might get beat to death. People beating folks with sticks. They breaking broomsticks, making little billy clubs. People in there stabbing each other. People in there doing drugs. People in there almost about to die. They're not giving you no nursing assistance. The nurse probably get there. You probably be dead.
But ADOC offers people in prison with nonviolent misdemeanor convictions a potentially life-saving deal. If they join the work release program, they get to live in special facilities that are generally much less dangerous than regular prisons. They spend their days working in the free world without prison supervision, and they can earn 72-hour passes to visit their families at home.
If you go out here and you do the right thing, you get to elevate, you get to grow, you get out of this facility. But what you didn't tell me is that you finna get all my money. That's what they didn't tell you.
The state takes a 40% cut of every incarcerated worker's wages off the top, before taxes, plus an additional $5 a day for van rides to and from work, $15 a month for laundry, and then any restitution and court fees.
If your check is $636, you might see two something out of that. And that's every 2 weeks. And you done work 80 hours and only seen $200. Like it makes you lose motivation, because money motivates people, especially working. So it kind of makes you lose motivation.
One estimate calculated that the state of Alabama enjoys a benefit of more than $450 million a year off of prison labor.
And it's slavery all the way around the board, just slavery.
And unlike free world workers, incarcerated workers can't just get a shift covered or quit.
ADOC has a list of rules that all incarcerated people are expected to abide by. Rules like don't have contraband, be in your bunk at the required time.
Now, I stopped sharing it because I would hope that people go back and watch it on their own.
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's a documentary. This is 2023. The documentary just came out 2024. So this is not 1860.
No, this is now. So are you saying that this is what it looks like for the quote unquote free world? Yeah, I like that.
This is what it looks like for the free world people. This is what's coming.
Yes.
When they get food vouchers. What is a food voucher? Black people, we are facing re-enslavement in the free world. It's happening in front of you. Read Project 2025. Project 2025 is not about the prison population. It's about the free world people.
But that's only if Trump wins, Yeah,
that's true. That's true. But the system of racism, white supremacy is in play. So regardless of who wins, these things will be put in play.
Yes. I just have to say what everybody
I know that's what they're going to say. And it's not just America, it's happening in England. Here's the difference.
Yes.
Or here's where we miss it. There's a thing called Black identity extremism.
Yes. Let me see if I can bring it up. If it lets me.
I have it here.
Okay.
Right? Black identity extremism. And we heard the term back in 2016 when Trump administration came in, and they were saying that they're going to target Black people and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? It's leaked. And we thought it was over because they stood up, right? ACLU, right? So this is legit. The ACLU leaked FBI documents, and this is from 2019, raised concerns about targeting Black people under Black identity extremists and newer labels. Published by the Young Turks, shedding light on how the FBI surveils Black people based on the baseless Black identity extremist designation. These documents show the FBI wasted resources, and when you start looking, but now they changed the name. It appears that the FBI simply renamed the label. It didn't go away. Even more, the documents showed the Bureau implemented a program titled Iron Fist.
Yes.
This is not 1965, y'all.
This is now.
To target department resources on spying, surveilling, and investigating Black activists, including through undercover agents. There is no indication that Iron Fist or any other program used to target Black people for surveillance have been dismantled. Instead, these documents suggest that the FBI continues under Trump and today to prioritize criminalizing Black dissent. It is a criminal offense to be in the dissenting view, to not like what's happening to you, while minimizing the threat of white supremacy. I would pray that people go and start to do some reading.
Yes, yes.
Because there's stuff happening right in front of us. And while we were sleeping, while we weren't paying attention, while we were watching the latest Lotta or Glorilla or Lil Nas or Lil X or Little P or Lil, everybody Lil nowadays, right? While we're busy watching that, this is happening in front of us. And we're not addressing reality. And there's no, I'm okay. I said to people all the time, when you're trying to talk to family and friends and they feel like, well, I'm straight, I'm good.
Right.
So, that's you. You got children? Yeah. All right, let me tell you what's coming for your son. Forget you, because you straight. But what's coming for your son, that little boy that you love, that little girl that you love, that daughter that you care about, what's coming for them is this. And you ain't going to be able to control your child's dissent, them not liking oppression. You understand? Because you gave birth to a generation in a generation that has a mentality of, you can't treat me like this. That's called dissent. That's what dissent's called. You can't treat me like this. That's a dissenting view. They can't do that. That's not fair. Anybody's ever got called to school for one of your children, what's the first thing the teachers say? Every time I tell them something and the child says, that's not fair. That's dissent. They're criminalizing dissent. I don't think we understand. Now, England was smart. They said, we're not going to have to rename ours. We'll just call it something silly, like the Ministry of Woke. And everybody heard it and laughed. You read its preamble and read what its job is, and it's an actual ministry that's funded. So people in the UK, France has its Ministry of Woke. Italy has its ministry. Why do all the European nations have their ministries of woke or their ministries of Iron Fist or some type of program to specifically target and deal with Black people who don't like how you're being treated? Please, this is how slavery took place initially, chattel slavery. It took place when they all agreed. All they're trying to do is find that thing that the liberals can live with, and then it's in full effect. Now, I know I sound crazy.
That's a one world order. That's what it sounds like to me.
Crazy in 1972. Elijah Muhammad sounded crazy. Sheikh Issa sounded crazy. Amy Jacques Garvey. Everybody sound crazy till crazy become reality. So I'm saying to people, this is what's here. You better start making your way. You better start, if you're in the West, make sure you got land. If you don't got land, you better go somewhere and get some. If you can't get somewhere, you better get to the continent. You can't get to the continent, you better do something, because sitting and hoping and wishing and praying and believing that it's good. Every major superstar that's Black, believes it ain't going to happen to them. Puffy didn't think, when he saw R. Kelly, he didn't think. The only one that got out was Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons was like, there's a lady accusing you that you tried to rape her. My man said, I'm moving to Thailand where they have no extradition. I'm out. He took his money, got out. That's the smartest one yet. Everybody else sitting around, I'm going to turn in everything. These devils don't play. We just seen Luke Campbell with Stephen A. Smith. These are big names. Stephen A. Smith. And what did he say? When you make these deals in that back room, they're going to humble you. Puffy is going through this because he legally had a legal proof that the wine company, the oldest liquor family on the planet, and them liquor families, they dealt with prohibition. They don't play. They got their own money. And he was showing that they owed him money and he was going this, and all of a sudden his whole world went upside down. Kanye had Adidas on the ropes because they owed him money. All of a sudden they went after him. Kyrie said one post he shared. He didn't even post it. He just shared. He didn't even like it. He didn't comment. And they destroyed that young man's career because of dissent. How dare you, Negro, black person, say that my mistreatment of you ain't fair? You should be happy I'm even letting you sell my alcohol. You should be happy I'm even letting you wear my Adidas. You should be happy I'm even letting you play for my new Brooklyn Nets. You should be happy I'm even letting you, LeBron James, shut up and dribble. This is the game. Bill Cosby, you should be happy we let you have the Cosby Show, and we let you have Fat Albert, and we let you have a different. You should be happy. They went after Lizzo, the artist, because she started talking some conscious, and they said, oh, her dancer said she tried to touch them. Career done. The young lady, Tiffany Haddish, and the other comedian, they had a whole scandal saying they tried to molest some kids. None of it was true, but it put her in her place. When you start talking dissent, they put you in your place if you're in bed with them. That's why I don't get in bed with them.
Don't get in bed with the devil.
Don't get in bed with the devil. The devil don't got no friends.
Yes. And
Stop trying to be famous. Take your wealth and do something. But you chase that fame, it comes with a price.
It comes with a price. And so I know that there's more. I've had conversations, and I know there's a lot more for people to hear and to understand and to really begin to move on. But there's African Holocaust Month that takes place every year in October. And so I know that's where most of this information will be spoken about in deeper context. If you can give some information about African Holocaust Month, if you give information for yourself, we do have it also on the bottom of the screen so that people know what to do next and where to go.
All right. Well, every year, the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah, Journey Home Group International, we have what's called International African Holocaust Month in the month of October. So it starts 4 Saturdays, which will be October 5th is the first one, and then the 12th, the 19th, and the 26th. It's free. You can go to journeyhomegroup.com, and on that homepage, you can click the link. It just asks for your email address, your name, and you're registered, and then you'll receive the code to be able to view. This year's theme is the information Holocaust. And just as tonight, I pray that Sister Zandi, you and myself have been able to kind of give people kind of a direction of how to see the dots, right? To be able to put things together, to be able to say, okay, this happened and that happened. Okay, these two things go together. You know, that game you play when you're a child, you put all the cards upside down and then you flip them and you got to match it. And you got to remember where you saw it. We've got to start really living that game, right? I try to be that person or that type of person. We've got to start living that game where you see and you remember, because we see and then we forget when we see it again and we think it's deja vu. No, you lived that already. You saw it already. You're seeing it again and don't realize where you saw it the last time. All right. So the information Holocaust that we're living or we're seeing is misinformation. They're misinforming us, misdirecting us, miseducating us, guiding us and introducing us to think the way they want us to think, to be programmed in that way. So International African Holocaust Month, every year, it's about stressing in the minds of the population, melanated people, wherever we may be. Hey, all hope's not over. We didn't lose. We still in the game, but we got to move with a level of sense of urgency. We got to move now. We got to pull resources. We're going to keep saying it. And there's people, some people might be listening in, signed in, watching right now, and they're going to hear this and go, yeah, but that year, but, oh my goodness. Now the but with one T, that year, but is what puts us in the problem because we are not moving with a sense of urgency. These people will say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. No, I can't be a conspiracy theory because I'm not conspiring against anyone. That's the myth. The conspiracy theorist is a person who's conspiring. No, they are the conspirators. They have an iron fist. They have a Project R. They have a ministry of woke. I don't have a ministry of woke, so I can't be the one conspiring. The false information and the false narrative is what they're promoting to keep us distracted. The Jewish people went through the same thing in Nazi Europe. Germany and Europe. They went through the same thing. They didn't believe it could happen. They said, no way. There's no way they're going to be able to kill us. 6 million deaths later, they realized, oh, wait. So I'm saying to black people, stop telling me every time a black boy says, they can't do that. He can't choke George Floyd like that. People were standing there with their cameras saying, get your knee off of him. That ain't right. You can't do that as he was doing it. The goon squad, they broke into these people's houses, 2 black men, beat them, tortured them, put a gun in who had done he can't do that. We keep saying what the hyena, what the Canaanite can't do as he's doing it to us. We got to get our heads out of our backside and pull our minds and our eyes up and stop looking down and address what's happening. If you want to know how, join us for International African Holocaust Month, where real topics with real solution, which require discipline, will be talked about. If you are a person that does not want discipline, then it ain't probably going to be for you. Sorry. If you just want some information, you want some polite, well, you know, you can reach out to him. He receives mail where he's being held. But if you want something that's in real time to get some real stuff done, go to journeyhomegroup.com, register so that we can have a real conversation and implement. And we do this knowing that the same powers that be are going to come for us in some way, form, or fashion. So the quicker we can get the heck out the way, the better it'll be for all of us. I'm not a fool. I understand that what we are discussing tonight is interfering with the status quo that they want in effect. Everybody who's watching, please understand, they see your name too. Now everybody gonna change their names, right? But please understand that this is how it works. But all it takes for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. I don't want to be a good person. I want to be the type of people that get it done. So I'm saying Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah, join us. Invest in self and part of this world, true religious, support humanity, support melanin minds, support Coptic revealers, support our own. We need our own textbooks. Support Journey Home Publishing. Support Bantu Baby Books. Support the Supreme Radio. Support, you know what I'm saying? Support our own stuff. And if you can't support it, at least create something that looks like us from your perspective to help do something for our people. No one is coming that's not already here. All we got is each other. No one's coming to change our conditions. So I would tell people, go to journeyhomegroup.com and check us out on Facebook, the Holy Coptic Church International.
Yes. Thank you so much again for your time. We appreciate you being here and we look forward to seeing you again. We would like to thank all of our listeners for joining us again another week. I say this all the time. Without you, we wouldn't be successful in this messaging. So we ask that you help us spread it and that you take something from today's episode. You go back, you take notes, and each one teach one. This information is no good if you just hear it, yay, that was deep, and then you go make a sandwich. What are you going to do after today? What are you going to do after tonight? It's one thing to see all these scandals on television and talk about them, but there's another thing to have appropriate reactions, to have righteous indignation, and to be able to fight back, use your mind. And everyone, again, thank you for joining us. Have a blessed and safe weekend. Peace and love.